The first time 5-year-old Avery Morgan called Sebastian Romano daddy, 400 people heard her. Music drifted through the crystal ballroom of the Romano Grand Hotel as politicians, businessmen, celebrities, and men with concealed weapons raised champagne glasses beneath golden chandeliers. At the center of the room stood Sebastian Romano. He wore a black suit tailored to his powerful frame. His expression was calm, unreadably, and cold enough to silence men who had ordered killings without hesitation. One hand rested against the back of his fiancée's chair, while photographers gathered near the stage. Isabella De Luca glittered beside him in a white designer gown, diamonds at her throat and triumph in her eyes. Their engagement was supposed to unite two criminal dynasties. It was supposed to end decades of bloodshed. It was supposed to make Isabella the most powerful woman on the East Coast. Then the ballroom doors opened. A little girl in a yellow coat slipped past two security guards. Her dark curls bounced around her small face as she searched the enormous room with frightened gray eyes. She looked lost among the gowns, tuxedos, and polished marble. Lily Morgan nearly dropped the silver tray in her hands. Avery, the child, should have been at home with Lily's neighbor. She should not have been inside the hotel. She should never have seen Sebastian Romano. Lily pushed through the servers, but a crowd of guests blocked her path. Avery turned toward the stage. Behind Sebastian hung a 20-foot engagement portrait showing him and Isabella standing beneath the Romano family crest. The child stared at Sebastian's face. Confusion became recognition. Recognition became joy. She ran. The champagne glass in Isabella's hand stopped halfway to her lips. Sebastian looked down as Avery reached him, wrapped both arms around his leg, and pressed her cheek against his black trousers. "Daddy," the word floated through the ballroom. The orchestra stopped. Every conversation died. Lily stood several yards away, unable to breathe. Sebastian did not move. He had faced guns without blinking. He had watched enemies beg for mercy. He had buried his father and taken control of an empire before he was 30. But one small word from a child left him completely still. Avery lifted her face. "I knew you were real." Sebastian's gaze moved slowly from the child to Lily. His eyes found her across the crowded ballroom. 5 years vanished. He recognized her immediately. The fuller curve of her body beneath the gray maid uniform. The soft brown hair pinned at the back of her neck. The pale face that had once rested against his chest while waves struck the windows of a small seaside hotel. The woman he had searched for, the woman he had believed, had betrayed him. The woman who was now staring at him as though his existence could destroy everything she loved. Isabella rose from her chair. "Who is this child?" Avery tightened her arms around Sebastian. Lily forced her legs to move. She reached the stage and tried to take her daughter's hand. "Avery, come with me." Sebastian's fingers closed around Lily's wrist. He did not grip hard, but the contact stopped her as effectively as a locked door. His voice was quiet. "Why did she call me that?" Lily met his eyes. "Because she made a mistake." Avery shook her head. "No. Mommy, he is the man in your picture." A murmur spread through the ballroom. Isabella's beautiful face changed. Only for a second, but Lily saw the flash of terror beneath her anger. Sebastian saw it too. The Mafia Boss released Lily's wrist and crouched in front of Avery. The movement caused several armed guards to shift nervously. Sebastian Romano did not kneel for anyone. His gaze studied the child's gray eyes, the shape of her mouth, and the tiny crescent-shaped mark behind her left ear. His expression hardened. Sebastian had the same mark. So had his father. Avery touched his cheek with one small hand. "You look sadder than the picture." Sebastian closed his eyes for one brief moment. When he opened them, something dangerous had awakened behind them. He stood and faced Lily. "How old is she?" Lily's throat tightened. 5. The answer struck him harder than the child's embrace. Isabella stepped between them. This is obviously a performance. Someone sent this woman to humiliate us. Lily pulled Avery behind her. I did not bring her here. Isabella looked at Lily's maid uniform and smiled with deliberate cruelty. Of course not. A hotel maid would never plan something so ambitious. Someone must have paid her. Sebastian turned his head. Do not speak about her again. Isabella's smile disappeared. The room seemed to become colder. Sebastian looked toward his head of security. Lock the hotel. The massive ballroom doors closed. Several guests protested. Sebastian ignored them. No one leaves until I know how this child entered a secured engagement and why armed men were following her through the service corridor. Lily's blood turned cold. Armed men, Sebastian watched her reaction. You did not know. It was not a question. He lifted Avery into his arms. The child settled against him with startling trust. One small hand resting near his collar. Isabella moved forward. Sebastian, put her down. He looked at his fiancée with an expression that made the nearest guest step back. The engagement celebration is over. Then Sebastian Romano walked out of his own engagement party, carrying the daughter he had never known existed. And Lily understood that the secret she had protected for 5 years had become the most dangerous truth in New York. 5 years earlier, Lily Morgan had been cleaning room 312 of a small oceanfront hotel in Newport when she found a bleeding stranger beside the bed. At first, she thought he was dead. Rain struck the windows. The curtains moved in the cold wind from shattered glass. A lamp lay broken on the carpet. The man wore a black shirt soaked with blood near his shoulder. A gun rested in his hand. Lily should have run. Instead, she locked the door. The stranger opened his eyes. They were the darkest gray she had ever seen. Do not call the police. His voice was weak, but the command behind it was unmistakable. Lily grabbed a towel from the bathroom. You are bleeding on a carpet that costs more than my yearly salary. I am calling someone. No police. Then tell me who shot you. He stared at her. Do you usually question armed men only when they ruin my rooms? For the first time, his mouth almost moved into a smile. Lily pressed the towel against his shoulder. He caught her wrist before she could touch the wound. His grip was powerful despite the blood loss. She did not pull away. You can threaten me after I stop you from dying. Something in her voice made him release her. He told her his name was Sebastian Vale. It was a lie. Nearly everything about him was a lie. He claimed he worked in private security. He claimed the attack had been a robbery. He claimed he had no family. But Lily saw the way expensive black vehicles circled the street before disappearing. She noticed the tattooed men who waited in the lobby but never approached his room. She understood that the gun beneath his pillow was not the weapon of an ordinary security consultant. She also understood that he was alone. For 3 weeks. Sebastian remained hidden inside the hotel while his wound healed. Lily brought him food after her shifts. He disliked conversation, accepted no pity, and watched every doorway as though death might enter at any moment. She challenged him anyway. She told him when he was arrogant. She took away his whiskey when he mixed it with medication. She opened the curtains each morning, even when he demanded darkness. He watched her move around the room with a fascination he tried to hide. Lily was not thin or polished like the women photographed beside wealthy men. She had soft curves, warm brown eyes, and a quiet strength created by years of surviving without anyone's protection. Men had often treated her body as something to mock or secretly desire. Sebastian looked at her as though every curve demanded his attention. One stormy night, he stood behind her near the window. His healed shoulder nearly touched her back. Why are you not afraid of me? Lily watched rain slide down the glass. I am afraid of you. You do not act like it. Being afraid and obeying are not the same thing. His hand lifted toward her hair. He stopped before touching her. That restraint was more intimate than the touch would have been. You should stay away from men like me. Lily. She turned to face him. Then stop looking at me like you want me to stay. He kissed her before either of them could pretend the moment meant nothing. Their romance lasted only 11 days. It was intense, quiet, and hidden from the world. Sebastian never promised her a future. Lily never asked for one, yet they slept with their hands joined beneath the sheets, as though their bodies understood what their pride refused to admit. On their last night together, Sebastian placed a silver ring in Lily's palm. It was not an engagement ring. The design carried no diamonds, only a small engraved raven with its wings spread around a dark stone. Keep this. What does it mean? That no one who recognizes it will touch you. Lily closed her fingers around the ring. Are you expecting someone to try? Sebastian's expression changed. He looked toward the dark window. I am expecting many things. The attack came before dawn. Gunfire shattered the quiet hotel. Sebastian pushed Lily onto the floor and covered her body with his as bullets struck the walls. Men shouted in the corridor. Smoke filled the room. Sebastian pressed his gun into Lily's hand and forced her into the bathroom. Lock the door. What about you? Do not open it until the room is silent. Sebastian, his hand cupped the back of her neck. For 1 second, the coldness left his face. I should never have touched you. The words wounded her more deeply than the gunfire. Then he kissed her forehead and left. Lily remained inside the bathroom until the hotel fire alarm began screaming. When she finally opened the door, the room was empty. There was blood on the carpet. Sebastian was gone. 2 weeks later, Lily learned she was pregnant. 1 month after that, she saw Sebastian's face on the news. His real name was Matteo Romano. He was the only surviving son of one of the most feared criminal families in America. His father had been murdered during an internal power struggle. Sebastian had returned to New York, killed the men responsible, and taken control of the Romano Empire. Lily wrote to him. She sent the first letter to the Romano corporate office. She sent the second to his family estate. She sent the third through an attorney. No answer came. When Lily was 6 months pregnant, she traveled to New York. She waited outside the Romano estate for 4 hours in freezing rain. A black car finally stopped beside her. A beautiful woman stepped out, Isabella De Luca. Lily did not know her name at the time. The woman wore a cream coat and looked at Lily's pregnant body with disgust. Sebastian has no interest in seeing you. Lily clutched the silver raven ring. I need to hear that from him. You never will. Isabella opened an umbrella. Men like Sebastian use women when they are bored. They do not build families with hotel maids. Lily tried to pass her. 2 guards blocked the way. Isabella leaned closer. I know what you are carrying. I also know where your mother lives and which clinic you visit. Lily became completely still. Isabella's voice softened. Disappear, and your child may grow up. Come back, and neither of you will. That evening, Lily returned to her apartment and found the door broken. Nothing had been stolen. A photograph from her first ultrasound lay on the kitchen table. Someone had cut it directly through the image of the baby. Lily left New York before sunrise. She changed apartments, jobs, and phone numbers. She never contacted Sebastian again. She kept only one photograph of him, a small picture taken during their 11 days by the ocean. Sebastian stood beside the hotel window with a rare, almost reluctant smile. Lily hid the photograph inside a drawer beside her bed. She believed Avery had never seen it. She was wrong. After the engagement party, Sebastian took Lily and Avery to the hotel's private penthouse. 6 armed guards stood outside. 2 more guarded the elevator. Lily remained near the windows, while Avery sat at the marble kitchen island eating strawberries from a crystal bowl. Sebastian stood across the room, with his jacket removed and his sleeves folded to his forearms. He had grown harder in 5 years. The wounded stranger Lily had once protected was gone. This man carried power in every controlled movement. He watched Avery as though looking away might cause her to disappear. A doctor arrived to collect samples for a paternity test. Lily refused. Sebastian's gaze shifted to her. You lied to me for 5 years. I protected my daughter for 5 years. From me. From your world? His jaw tightened. Those are not the same thing. To me, they were. Avery looked between them. Are you angry because I called you Daddy? Sebastian's expression softened by a fraction. No. Are you my daddy? Lily closed her eyes. Sebastian did not answer immediately. He crouched beside the child again. I believe I may be. Avery smiled. Mommy said you went away because you had something dangerous to finish. Sebastian looked toward Lily. She said that. Avery nodded. She never said you were bad. She only cried when she thought I was asleep. Lily turned toward the windows. Sebastian stood slowly. His voice became quiet. Leave us. The doctor and guards departed. Sebastian waited until the doors closed. Then he walked toward Lily. You told her about me. I told her enough to stop her from believing she had been abandoned because she was unwanted. What did you tell yourself? Lily faced him. That the man I knew never really existed. His eyes darkened. He existed with you. Then he disappeared without a word. The hotel was attacked. My father was murdered that same night. My family believed someone had followed me to Newport, and you believed it was me. Sebastian said nothing. His silence answered. Lily laughed once, without humor. You thought I sold you out. I investigated everyone who knew my location. Did you investigate the woman carrying your child? I never knew there was a child. I wrote to you. No letters reached me. I went to your house. Sebastian became motionless. When Lily told him, she described the rain, the black car, and the woman in the cream coat. She repeated every threat. When she said Isabella's name, something murderous passed across Sebastian's face. Avery slid down from the chair and hurried to Lily. Sebastian immediately controlled himself. He turned away, placing both hands on the counter. Lily watched the muscles in his back tighten beneath his white shirt. His voice was dangerously calm. You are certain it was Isabella? I spent 5 years trying to forget her face. I failed. Sebastian took out his phone. He called his head of security. Find every piece of correspondence addressed to me during the year after Newport. Search private mail rooms. Archive security files. And every employee record. I want the names of anyone connected to the DeLuca family. He listened for a moment. Then find out why 2 armed men followed Avery into my hotel. He ended the call. Lily moved closer to her daughter. We are leaving. No. You do not control us. Someone entered the engagement through a secured service entrance. They were following your child. That danger exists because of you. Sebastian turned. It exists because Isabella knew about Avery before I did. Lily hated that he was right. He walked to the penthouse doors and locked them himself. Until I know who followed her. You both remain under my protection. Protection sounds different when the doors lock from the outside. His eyes met hers. Then I will remain inside with you. Lily stared at him. Sebastian loosened his tie and placed his gun on the table. Far from Avery. I will not leave either of you alone tonight. It should not have mattered. But after 5 years of checking every lock twice and waking whenever Avery coughed, Lily felt something inside her finally weaken. Not trust. Not forgiveness. Only exhaustion. Sebastian noticed. He noticed everything about her. He took 1 step forward, then stopped before reaching for her. The distance between them was less than a breath and greater than 5 years. You should have been able to come to me. Lily looked at the weapon on the table. I did. Your world answered first. The paternity test confirmed what Sebastian already knew. Avery Morgan was his daughter. The results arrived before sunrise. Sebastian read the report alone in the penthouse office. He did not speak for several minutes. Then he asked to see the child. Lily found him sitting on the floor beside Avery's temporary bed. The most feared man in New York held a picture book in his large hands while Avery slept beneath a white blanket. He was not reading. He was studying her face. Lily remained in the doorway. Sebastian spoke without looking up. "She has my father's eyes. She has your habit of watching doors." His gaze lifted. "You taught her that I taught her to notice when she was being followed." The accusation landed between them. Sebastian rose. "You will not return to work." Lily folded her arms. "I need my job. You need security. I have supported Avery without you for 5 years, and you will never need to struggle again." She stepped closer. "Do not turn guilt into ownership." His eyes narrowed. "Do not mistake my responsibility for guilt. What would you call it? Rage." The answer was immediate. Sebastian moved closer until Lily had to tilt her face upward. "Rage that someone threatened you while carrying my child. Rage that my daughter learned my face from a hidden photograph instead of from me. Rage that every night you were afraid. I was sitting in a mansion believing you had forgotten me." Lily's breath caught. "I tried to forget you. Did you succeed?" She could have lied. Sebastian would have recognized it. No. Something changed in his expression. He lifted one hand toward her cheek, then stopped. That familiar restraint returned. It hurt more now. A knock sounded at the door before either of them moved. Sebastian's head of security entered. Gabriel Russo had served the Romano family for nearly 20 years. He placed a sealed plastic folder on the desk. "We found the letters." Lily stared at the folder. Sebastian opened it. Inside were 3 envelopes in Lily's handwriting. All had been opened. None had reached him. There was also surveillance footage from the Romano estate. The recording showed a pregnant Lily standing in the rain. It showed Isabella leaving the property. It showed one of Isabella's guards photographing Lily's identification. Gabriel placed another image beside the letters. A man in a dark coat standing outside Avery's school 2 days earlier. The same man had followed her into the hotel. Sebastian's face became unreadable. "Who is he?" Gabriel answered carefully. "A DeLuca soldier." Lily reached for the chair as the room tilted. Sebastian caught her, his arm locked around her waist, pulling her against his chest. For 1 second, Lily felt the same strength that had shielded her from bullets in Newport. Then she remembered the world surrounding him and pushed away. Why were they watching Avery? Gabriel looked at Sebastian. Isabella's father learned about the child several months ago. We believe he intended to use her after the engagement gave the DeLucas access to Romano properties. Lily covered her mouth. Sebastian's voice lowered. "Where is Isabella now?" "She left the hotel through a private elevator during the lockdown." "Find her." Gabriel hesitated. "There is something else." He handed Sebastian a photograph taken in the ballroom. Isabella stood near Lily's service station before the party. She was looking directly at her. Isabella had known Lily would be working there. The engagement had been held at the Romano Grand for a reason. She wanted Lily close enough to see Sebastian promise himself to another woman. The cruelty was personal. Lily understood it immediately. Sebastian did too. He crushed the photograph in his hand. The penthouse became a fortress. Black sport utility vehicles blocked every entrance. Armed men filled the corridors. Security systems were replaced within hours. Sebastian moved Lily and Avery to the Romano estate outside Manhattan. Lily resisted until Gabriel showed her footage of another DeLuca vehicle near her apartment. The estate stood beyond iron gates surrounded by bare winter trees. Avery pressed her face against the car window when she saw it. "Is that your castle?" Sebastian sat across from her in the armored vehicle. "No. It looks like one." "Then it is a poorly designed house pretending to be a castle." Avery laughed. Sebastian stared at her, as though the sound had entered a part of him no one else could reach. Lily watched from beside her daughter. She had expected Sebastian to treat Avery like an obligation. Instead, he noticed everything. He learned that Avery hated peas, loved yellow dresses, and became frightened by thunder. He arranged a bedroom, but removed the expensive toys when Lily said the room felt like a store. He attended every security briefing, but returned before Avery fell asleep. On the third night, Lily found him sitting outside Avery's bedroom. The hallway was dark. Sebastian leaned against the wall with his sleeves rolled up and a gun resting beside him. "Why are you here?" He looked toward the closed bedroom door. She had a nightmare. "Why did you not wake me?" She asked me to stay. Lily sat on the opposite side of the hallway. For several minutes, neither spoke. Rain tapped against the tall windows. Sebastian looked at the ceiling. "I have ordered men killed without losing sleep." Lily said nothing. He continued. "Tonight she cried because she thought I might disappear again. I did not know what to say. Tell her the truth." "Which truth?" "That you do not know how to be her father yet." His gaze moved to Lily. "And if I fail, then you apologize and try again. People do not get second chances in my world. Children give them every morning." Silence returned. Sebastian's hand rested on the floor between them. Lily's fingers were only inches away. He did not touch her. "Tell me about the day she was born." Lily described the small hospital room, the snow outside, and Avery's first cry. She told him how frightened she had been. She did not tell him how desperately she had wanted him there. Sebastian understood anyway. His voice became rough. "You were alone." "Yes." He looked at his hands. "I would have come." Lily wanted to believe him. That was what frightened her most. The next morning, Avery disappeared from her bedroom. The alarm spread through the estate within seconds. Sebastian moved through the halls with a gun in his hand and murder in his eyes. Lily followed until guards tried to stop her. She shoved past them. They found Avery inside Sebastian's private office. She stood before a wall covered with photographs, maps, and family documents. In her hands was the old picture Lily had hidden beside her bed. Sebastian had taken it from Lily's apartment during the security evacuation. Avery pointed toward another photograph on the wall. It showed Sebastian as a boy beside his parents. "That is your daddy." Sebastian lowered his weapon. "Yes." "Where is he?" "Dead." Avery considered this. "Did bad men hurt him?" Sebastian looked toward Lily. "Yes." "Did you hurt the bad men?" Back Lily held her breath. Sebastian crouched. "I made sure they could never hurt anyone again." Avery touched the picture of Sebastian's father. "Mommy says hurting people makes your heart heavy." Sebastian's eyes shifted to Lily. "Your mother is right. Is your heart heavy?" For the first time since Lily had known him, Sebastian appeared uncertain. "Yes." Avery stepped forward and wrapped her arms around his neck. Sebastian froze him. Then his eyes closed. One hand settled carefully against his daughter's back. Lily turned away before he saw her tears. That afternoon, Sebastian received confirmation that Isabella's family had begun moving weapons into the city. The engagement alliance had collapsed. War was coming. Sebastian ordered Lily and Avery move to a safe house near the coast. Lily refused. "You keep making decisions about our lives without asking. I am keeping you alive. You cannot lock us away every time someone threatens your power." His restraint broke. "They are not threatening my power. They are threatening you." The room went silent. Sebastian stood behind his desk, breathing heavily. His men avoided looking at him. He dismissed everyone. When they were alone, Lily walked closer. "You were willing to marry Isabella?" "I was willing to stand beside her long enough to prove her father ordered my father's murder." Lily stopped. Sebastian opened a hidden compartment beneath the desk. He removed financial records, photographs, and recordings. The DeLucas had been stealing weapons from Romano shipments and selling information to federal investigators. Isabella had arranged the attack in Newport to force Sebastian home before he discovered the full operation. The engagement was bait. Sebastian had planned to expose Isabella's family during the wedding negotiations. You never loved her. No. Did she know? She knew I would never belong to her. Lily looked at the evidence, and she blamed me. Sebastian stepped around the desk. Isabella saw you in Newport before the attack. She knew I stayed in that hotel because of you. Why did you? His answer came quietly. Because it was the only place I had ever wanted to remain. Lily's heart beat painfully. Sebastian stopped in front of her. I left because my father was dying, and every person close to me had become a target. I believed distance would protect you. It did not. No. His fingers touched the silver chain at Lily's neck. The raven ring hung beneath her uniform. His expression changed when he saw it. You kept it. I could not sell it. That is not why you kept it. Lily looked away. Sebastian lifted her chin. Tell me to release you. She could not speak. His thumb moved across her lower lip. 5 years of anger, desire, grief, and unanswered questions tightened the air between them. He leaned closer. The office door opened. Avery entered, holding a drawing. Mommy. I made us a family picture. Sebastian stepped back immediately. Lily's body remained aware of the space he had abandoned. Avery held up the paper. 3 figures stood beneath a large yellow sun. One had Lily's brown hair. One wore Avery's yellow coat. The third was very tall and dressed entirely in black. Sebastian took the drawing. Why do I look angry? Avery smiled. That is just your face. Lily laughed before she could stop herself. Sebastian stared at her. The sound affected him more than any confession could have. He folded the drawing carefully and placed it inside his jacket near his heart. 2 days later, someone tried to kill Lily outside the estate chapel. She had gone there alone after breakfast, needing a quiet place away from guards and locked doors. The chapel stood at the edge of the property beneath leafless trees. Lily heard the vehicle before she saw it. A black car crashed through the side gate. The rear window opened. Sebastian appeared between Lily and the gunfire. He had followed her without announcing himself. He drove her to the ground and covered her body with his own as bullets struck the stone walls. His men returned fire. The vehicle sped toward the trees. Sebastian lifted Lily into his arms and carried her into the chapel. Blood darkened, his white shirt near his ribs. Lily touched it with shaking hands. You are hurt. It is not deep. He placed her behind the stone altar and drew his weapon. Stay here. Do not leave me again. The words escaped Lily before she could stop them. Sebastian turned. For a moment, the gunfire outside faded. His face changed. He crossed the distance between them and pressed his forehead against hers. I will burn this city before I leave you again. Then he returned to the chapel doors. He stood beneath the stained glass windows while his men surrounded the property. The attack ended within minutes. One DeLuca soldier survived. Under questioning, he revealed the truth. Isabella was not trying to kill Lily. She wanted Sebastian frightened enough to send Lily and Avery to the coastal safe house. The safe house had already been compromised. Sebastian changed the plan immediately. He moved Lily and Avery to the upper floors of the Romano Grand Hotel, the same building where the secret had begun. The hotel remained closed to the public. Security controlled every entrance. Sebastian stayed in the suite beside theirs. His wound required stitches, but he refused pain medication until Lily stood in front of him with the bottle. Take it. No. You were easier to manage when you were bleeding in Newport. You were less demanding when you did not know my name. Lily handed him the pills. I knew enough. Sebastian took them. Their eyes remained locked. Lily cleaned the dried blood near his ribs while he sat on the edge of the bed. His skin was warm beneath her fingers. Scars crossed his chest and shoulders. Some were old. Others had appeared during the 5 years they were apart. You have been hurt many times. Sebastian watched her. None of them stayed with me as long as you did. Lily's hand stopped. He touched her wrist. I hated you after Newport. I know. It was easier than admitting I missed you. She swallowed. I hated you too. No. You did not. His certainty angered her. You do not know what I felt. Sebastian stood. The space between them disappeared. You kept my ring. You kept my photograph. You gave our daughter reasons to believe I had not abandoned her. Lily stepped back. He followed. You loved the man you believed I could have been. And who are you now? A man trying not to destroy everything he touches. His gaze dropped to her mouth. Lily whispered, You are touching me now. Sebastian's hand moved around her waist. He pulled her against him with controlled strength. His mouth stopped inches from hers. The interruption came through the security radio. Ava was missing. Sebastian released Lily and reached for his weapon. The hotel went into lockdown. Cameras showed Avery leaving the private suite with a woman dressed as a housekeeper. Lily recognized the woman, Isabella. The fiancé had entered through an old service tunnel beneath the hotel. Sebastian's men found a message inside Avery's room. Isabella wanted Sebastian to come alone to the abandoned St. Gabriel Cathedral near the harbor. He had 1 hour. Lily grabbed her coat. Sebastian blocked the door. You are not coming. She took my daughter. She wants you there. She wants both of us. Lily stared at him. Then stop giving her what she expects. Sebastian contacted Gabriel and divided his men into 3 teams. He ordered the harbor sealed and every road watched. Lily listened until she understood the plan. Then she noticed a photograph attached to Isabella's message. Avery stood inside the abandoned church beside a broken, stained glass window. Behind her was a clock showing the wrong time. Lily had worked at the Romano Grand for years. She knew the service tunnels, maintenance rooms, and old storage spaces beneath the building. That is not St. Gabriel Cathedral. Sebastian looked at the photograph. The stained glass window belongs to the hotel's original ballroom. The Romano Grand had been built over a smaller 19th century hotel destroyed by fire. Several rooms beneath the modern basement had been sealed for decades. One contained an abandoned private chapel. Isabella had never left the building. The cathedral message was a trap designed to pull Sebastian's men toward the harbor. Sebastian led Lily through the service tunnels. The air smelled of dust and rusted pipes. Emergency lights glowed along the stone walls. He kept one hand against Lily's back as they descended. At the final door, he stopped. You remain behind me. That is not happening. Lily, she looked at him. For 5 years, I protected Avery alone. You do not get to remove me from the moment she needs me most. Sebastian's jaw tightened. Then stay close enough that I can reach you. He opened the door. The old chapel was filled with candles. Avery sat near the altar, with her hands tied in front of her. Isabella stood behind her in the white gown from the engagement. Although the hem was now dirty and torn, several armed men waited among the broken pews. Isabella smiled. The missing family has finally arrived. Sebastian's gun remained lowered. Release the child. Give me the evidence against my father. No. Isabella pressed a weapon against Avery's shoulder. Lily moved forward. Take me instead. Sebastian caught her arm. Isabella laughed. You always were desperate to be chosen. Lily looked directly at her. You threatened a pregnant woman because a man did not love you. Nothing about that makes you powerful. Isabella's face hardened. Sebastian never chose you either. He left you bleeding in a hotel while he returned to his empire. Sebastian spoke calmly. And yet she is still the only woman I came back for. The words struck Isabella. Her weapon shifted away from Avery for 1 second. Sebastian fired. The bullet struck the weapon from Isabella's hand. Gunfire erupted. Sebastian pushed Lily behind a stone column. His men entered through the side tunnels. The chapel filled with noise, smoke, and shattered wood. Lily crawled toward Avery. One of Isabella's guards saw her. He raised his weapon. Sebastian crossed the chapel before the man could fire. He struck the guard, disarmed him, and drove him into the floor with terrifying force. Another attacker fired from behind the altar. The bullet struck Sebastian's shoulder. He remained standing. Lily reached Avery and cut the restraints with a piece of broken glass. "Mommy, I am here." Isabella grabbed Lily from behind. A knife pressed against Lily's throat. The gunfire stopped. Sebastian turned. Blood ran down his arm. His face became completely still. Isabella dragged Lily toward the altar. "Drop the gun." Sebastian obeyed. Every man in the chapel stared at him. Sebastian Romano had never surrendered a weapon. Isabella smiled. "Kneel." Lily shook her head. "Do not." Sebastian lowered himself to one knee. Avery began crying. Isabella looked triumphant. "Now you understand what it feels like to watch someone else control the thing you love." Sebastian's eyes remained on Lily. "She is not a thing." His voice was calm. "She is the reason you have not already died." Isabella pressed the knife closer. Lily felt the blade against her skin. Sebastian's gaze moved toward the candles behind the altar. Lily followed it. A trail of spilled oil ran across the old wooden floor. She understood. Lily drove her heel into Isabella's foot and twisted away. Sebastian fired a hidden weapon from beneath his jacket. The shot struck Isabella's shoulder. She fell backward into the candles. Flames spread across the spilled oil. Sebastian ran through the fire toward Lily. He wrapped one arm around her and lifted Avery with the other. Smoke filled the chapel. Burning wood fell from the ceiling. Sebastian carried them toward the tunnel as flames consumed the altar behind him. Isabella's men fled or surrendered. Gabriel pulled Avery to safety. Sebastian refused to release Lily until they reached the hotel basement. Only then did his strength fail. He collapsed against the stone wall. Lily fell beside him. Blood covered his shoulder and side. Sebastian. His eyes searched for Avery. The child was crying in Gabriel's arms but appeared unharmed. Sebastian looked back at Lily. "You are safe. So are you." His mouth curved into a faint, tired smile. "That sounded like an order." "It is." She pressed both hands against his wound. Sebastian touched her cheek. "I love you." The confession was not gentle. It sounded torn from him. Lily stared at the man who had hidden every emotion behind power and violence. He had waited until he was bleeding on a basement floor to give her the only truth she had wanted for 5 years. "Do not say that like a goodbye. Then give me a reason to survive it." Lily leaned down and kissed him. The kiss tasted of smoke, tears, and every year they had lost. When she pulled away, his forehead rested against hers. She whispered, "Come back to us." Sebastian closed his eyes as the medical team reached them. He survived. Isabella survived as well. She was arrested after evidence connecting her to the hotel attack, the surveillance of Avery, multiple murders, and the attempted kidnapping reached federal authorities. Her father tried to flee the country. Sebastian's men found him before he reached the airport. No one asked what happened during the hours before the authorities received him. The De Luca empire collapsed within weeks. Sebastian released the evidence he had gathered and severed every alliance connected to Isabella's family. The public believed the engagement had ended because of the scandal. Only a few people understood that the engagement had truly ended the moment a little girl in a yellow coat crossed the ballroom. Sebastian spent 10 days in the hospital. Lily remained beside him, but she did not promise him a future. She refused to let fear, guilt, or Avery decide for her. When Sebastian returned to the estate, Lily confronted him in the library. "I will not become another possession inside this house." He stood near the fireplace, his injured arm in a sling. I know. I will not allow armed men to follow Avery into school. There will be discreet security. We will live in our own home. Sebastian's expression tightened. Near me? Near enough for Avery to see you. Far enough that we can breathe. He looked toward the window. Lily understood how much the request cost him. Sebastian was a man who controlled entire neighborhoods because control was the only language his enemies respected. Loving Lily required him to surrender some of it. He faced her again. What else? No lies about danger. Agreed. No decisions about Avery without me. Agreed. No threatening men because they speak to me. His eyes narrowed. That depends on how they speak to you. Lily almost smiled. Sebastian moved closer. And what do I receive? A chance. His expression changed. Not forgiveness. Not yet. He stopped in front of her. A chance is more dangerous. Why? Because now you have something to lose. His hands settled gently against her waist. I have had something to lose since Newport. Lily placed her palm against his chest. Then this time, do not run. He lowered his mouth to hers. I will not survive leaving twice. Their second romance moved slowly. Sebastian attended Avery's school meetings and terrified every teacher without meaning to. He learned to braid hair badly. He allowed Avery to place bright stickers on his private briefcase. He kept her family drawing, framed beside documents worth millions. With Lily, he remained difficult, possessive, and emotionally guarded, but he listened. When she needed space, he gave it with visible pain. When nightmares woke her, he sat beside her bed without demanding to be invited beneath the blankets. When she finally reached for him, he held her as though restraint was the greatest act of devotion he had ever learned. One evening, Lily returned from work to find Sebastian standing outside her new apartment. Rain darkened his black coat. No guards were visible, although Lily knew they were nearby. Why are you outside? You asked for space. You have a key. You did not ask me to use it. Lily opened the door. Avery was asleep at a friend's home. Sebastian entered but remained near the doorway. Lily removed his wet coat. He watched her hands. 5 years ago, I thought loving you made you vulnerable. It did. His jaw tightened. Lily touched his face. But losing you did not make me safer. Sebastian closed his eyes against her palm. I do not know how to love without trying to control the outcome. Then love me without knowing what happens next. His eyes open. That sounds unbearable. It is called trust. He pulled her against him. I trust you with everything except leaving me. Lily kissed him. Then give me reasons to stay. By spring, Sebastian returned with Lily and Avery to the small oceanfront hotel in Newport. The building had been abandoned after the attack. Sebastian had secretly purchased it years earlier. He had preserved room 312 exactly as it had been, except for the bullet-damaged walls. Lily entered the room and stopped. The curtains moved in the ocean breeze. A new lamp stood beside the bed. The carpet had been replaced. The silver raven symbol was carved into the wooden headboard. Why did you keep this place? Sebastian stood behind her. Because it was the last place I remembered being human. Avery ran to the window. Can we live here? Lily laughed. Sebastian looked at her. We could. She turned. What are you asking? He reached into his coat. Lily's heart accelerated. Sebastian did not kneel. He knew she did not need a performance. He held out the same silver raven ring he had given her 5 years earlier. A thin band of diamonds now surrounded the dark stone. I cannot promise you a quiet man or an ordinary life. Lily's eyes filled with tears. Sebastian continued. I can promise that you will know every truth that concerns you. I can promise that Avery will never question whether she is wanted. I can promise that every enemy I face will understand that my family is not my weakness. His voice lowered. You are the reason I remember why power matters. Lily looked toward Avery. The child pressed both hands over her mouth. Trying not to interrupt, Sebastian's controlled expression began to crack. Lily allowed him to wait. For once, the mafia boss had no power over the answer. Then she extended her hand. Yes. Avery screamed with happiness. Sebastian placed the ring on Lily's finger. Only then did he pull her into his arms. Their wedding took place at the restored Newport Hotel several months later. There were no politicians, no criminal alliance, no hundreds of strangers waiting to judge them. Only a small group of people Lily trusted. Several heavily armed men pretending not to cry, and a little girl in a yellow dress carrying white flowers. Sebastian waited near the ocean beneath a clear autumn sky. He wore black. He always would. But the man watching Lily approach was no longer the cold stranger who had disappeared before dawn. His power remained. His enemies still feared him. His hands were still capable of violence. Yet when Lily reached him, those hands trembled slightly as they closed around hers. Avery stood between them. She looked up at Sebastian. Daddy, are you sad again? Sebastian glanced at Lily. No. Then why do you look like that? Lily smiled. That is just his face. Avery laughed. Sebastian lifted his daughter into one arm and drew Lily close with the other. The ocean moved behind them. Sunlight touched the restored hotel windows. 5 years earlier, Lily had believed the most dangerous thing Sebastian Romano could do was enter her life. She had been wrong. The most dangerous thing he could do was become the man she had always hoped he could be. Not gentle, not harmless, but loyal, devoted, and terrifyingly afraid of losing her. Sebastian kissed Lily beneath the autumn sky. Avery's arms circled both of their necks. This time, when she called him Daddy, there was no shocked ballroom, no furious fiancé, and no secret waiting to destroy them. There was only a family. And for the first time in Sebastian Romano's dangerous life, he possessed something more powerful than fear. He had a home he would never abandon again.